Chapter 1. The Warning. The first time Elias saw her, she was standing in the rain, untouched by the downpour. Droplets slid off an invisible barrier inches from her skin, leaving her perfectly dry beneath the flickering neon lights of the city. Her eyes, golden, slit-pupilled and haunting, locked onto his, and Elias felt something primal stir in his chest. Fear. Fascination. Desire. "You shouldn't stare," she said, her voice like silk over steel. "It's dangerous." Elias, a biologist with a penchant for the unexplained, should have heeded the warning. But curiosity had always been his downfall. "Why?" he asked, stepping closer. "What are you?" She smiled, revealing teeth just a little too sharp. "Something you wouldn't believe." Her name was Lyria. She appeared human, mostly, but Elias soon learned the truth. She was other, a being from a dying world, surviving in the shadows of Earth. She fed on energy, on life force, and prolonged contact with her kind was fatal to humans. "Then why let me near you at all?" Elias asked one night as they sat on his apartment rooftop. The city sprawled beneath them. Lyria's fingers brushed his wrist, and his skin tingled, warmth spreading before a dull ache settled in his bones. "Because," she whispered, "you looked at me like I was worth the risk." Chapter 2. The Slow Burn. Elias should have run. But he didn't. Lyria was intoxicating. Her laughter was music, her touch electric, literally. Every brush of her skin against his left him dizzy, weak, but he craved it anyway. She warned him constantly. "I'm killing you," she murmured one evening as he lay with his head in her lap. His breath shallow. "Every second I stay, I drain you." Elias reached up, tracing the strange, luminous markings that appeared on her skin when she fed. "Then stop." She shook her head. "I can't. Not completely. It's what I am." He knew the science of it. Knew his cells were breaking down. His energy sapped. But love, if that's what this was, made fools of even the brightest minds. Then the government found out about her. Chapter 3. The Hunt. Men in black suits came for Lyria. They called her an extraterrestrial biohazard. They wanted to dissect her, weaponize her. Elias barely got her out in time. They fled the city, hiding in abandoned towns and empty forests. Lyria grew weaker. Earth's atmosphere wasn't meant to sustain her forever. She needed to return to her own kind, to the remnants of her dying planet. But the way home was closed. "There's another option," she admitted one night, her glow dimming. "A human life force, fully given, could power the gateway for me." Elias understood. "You mean mine?" She recoiled. "No, I won't take it." But Elias had made his choice long ago. Chapter 4. The Sacrifice. The agents cornered them in an old observatory. Lyria was fading fast, her form flickering between human and something far more alien. Radiant, terrifying, beautiful. Elias grabbed her hands. "Do it. You'll die," she begged. He kissed her, ignoring the way his veins burned at the contact. "I'd rather die loving you than live without you." Lyria screamed, a sound like breaking stars, and light erupted from her. The gateway tore open, a swirling vortex of cosmic energy. Elias felt his life draining, his vision darkening, but he held on. As the agents burst in, Lyria's true form emerged, a being of pure, lethal radiance. She turned to them, and in an instant they were dust. Then she looked back at Elias, crumpled on the floor. "No," she sobbed, cradling him. "No, no, no." Elias smiled weakly. "Go home," he whispered. And as his heart stopped, Lyria stepped through the portal, taking his love with her into the stars. Prologue. The Echo. Years later, astronomers detected an anomaly, a burst of energy from a distant galaxy, forming a new star. Its light, when analyzed, carried a faint, impossible signal. A whisper in a voice long lost. "Thank you." And somewhere, in the vast dark between worlds, Lyria remembered. The observatory trembled as the agents closed in, their weapons humming with charged energy. Elias could hear their shouts, cold, clinical orders to contain and neutralize the extraterrestrial threat. Lyria's form flickered violently between human and something far beyond, her luminous markings flaring like dying stars. Elias grabbed her hands, ignoring the searing pain where their skin met. His breath was ragged, his vision already blurring at the edges. He had known this moment would come. "Do it," he urged. Lyria's golden eyes burned with tears, or maybe it was the light of her true form breaking through. "I can't," she whispered. "Not like this. You have to." He pressed his forehead to hers, feeling the unnatural heat radiating from her. "They'll destroy you if you stay." Outside, the agents breached the door. Lyria let out a sound that was half sob, half snarl. Then, with a scream that shattered the remaining glass in the observatory, she unleashed herself. Her human disguise dissolved in a burst of radiance. What stood before Elias now was something vast and terrible, a being of pure energy, limbs elongated, her body woven from strands of cosmic fire. The markings on her skin blazed like constellations, and the air around her warped, reality itself bending under her grief and fury. The agents opened fire. The bullets never reached her. With a sweep of her hand, Lyria erased them, not just killing them, but unmaking them, reducing their bodies to ash that scattered in the wind. The remaining men stumbled back, their weapons useless, their voices lost in the deafening hum of her power. Then she turned to Elias. He was on his knees now, his body failing. The life she had drained from him over their time together had weakened him beyond recovery, and now, in her full presence, his cells were unraveling. Blood trickled from his nose, his lips, his ears. But he smiled. "Beautiful," he choked out. Lyria, no longer even resembling the woman he had loved, reached for him. Her touch should have vaporized him. Instead, it was gentle. "You stubborn, reckless man," her voice echoed, not in his ears but in his mind, a sound like galaxies colliding. "You were supposed to run." Elias laughed weakly. "And miss this." The gateway tore open behind her, a swirling maw of black and gold, the fabric of space splitting to reveal the dying embers of her homeworld. She could leave now. She could survive. But Elias wouldn't. She hesitated. He didn't. With the last of his strength, he pushed her toward the portal. "Go," he gasped. Lyria's form shuddered. For a heartbeat she resisted. Then, with a sound like a star-going supernova, she changed. The energy around her condensed, reshaping, until she was human again, or close enough. She knelt beside him, cradling his face. "No," she whispered, her voice raw. "Not like this. Not alone." Elias's vision darkened. He couldn't feel his limbs anymore, but her hands were warm. "Not alone," he agreed. And as his heart stuttered to a stop, Lyria did the one thing she had sworn never to do. She took everything. Not just his energy, his essence, his memories, his laughter, his love. She absorbed it all, letting it burn inside her like a second star. Then, with a final glance at the world that had doomed them both, she stepped into the gateway and vanished. Epilogue. The echo extended. 5 years later, the government covered it up, of course. The observatory incident was blamed on a rogue experiment. The agents were declared missing in action. And Elias Mercer. Officially, he died in a lab accident. Unofficially, no one could explain why his body was never found. But deep in the archives of a classified research facility, a single scientist kept a fragment of data. A burst of energy detected the moment Lyria disappeared. It wasn't just a gateway. It was a signal. And years later, when astronomers spotted a new star igniting in a distant galaxy, that same scientist noticed something strange. The star pulsed. In a rhythm. Almost like a heartbeat. Meanwhile, on a dying world at the edge of the universe, a being of light and fire knelt in the ruins of a once great city. In her hands, she cradled a flickering ember, a spark of human consciousness, fragile but alive. And for the first time in centuries, Lyria wept.